bottom's sealed up.
Back it back together.
Yeah.
You bring me over a pair of tin snips? Oh, I got some. Keep working your way down through there. Papers. Yes, they do.
Makes it all last.
Snips for a moment. We're gonna wait for some tin snips.
Yeah.
Does it smell the box?
Yeah.
It's good.
Probably bought it from Cummins.
I bet they did. Yeah, I'm putting it in there too.
Much like everything
Dave
in the
says.
past, it is.
Dave, you start the show.
Oh, right.
If you want to eat, you got the job, you get the bucket, you move
I'm assuming tin snips would be Is it welded, Dave?
Yes. It's kind of soldered.
Is it just a wood box or is it metal or?
Copper box.
guess they didn't leave instructions on how to open it.
The guys say when they did it, they try to open their hand flat. There you go. Yeah.
That's not good.
There's dust.
Talking about that. What they trying to do? Empty Bible, was it?
That's why I came down with
Guess they really do want to make one over.
Grinder time, Dave, or?
No, Matt don't want to hurt the contents.
Alright,
No, what's coming, it's just,
alright. As long as you're happy, as long as you're happy in the front.
it's gonna be moldy. We're gonna need a new box.
I think so.
Wow, we're gonna need a new box for everything. You wanna turn it around and this side? You wanna try with the snips? Who's open this? Yeah, so we're gonna do that. That's we're gonna have to waive the rules.
That's what I make something like that again.
Okay.
Roll now out of there.
Gonna have to dry for a little while.
Buy some gloves. Anybody, Dave, that can run some gloves over, you got some gloves in the cleaning pouch. We'll get some, leave it in there and then we'll bring the, take it out like gloves.
What do you want?
Chris, could you bring over some rubber gloves, please?
I don't think it's gonna matter much. We'll see what we can do.
Are we all set to go over now?
You guys wanna go over, we'll.
Just bring him to John's office.
You can, I gave it to
Just take him to John's office.
Head over.
What are we at?
think they would have left instructions.
You can get into this and you get the day off.
We're just heading back into the DMV right now because they have to get some gloves and things so that they can handle the contents of the box, because apparently it's a bit wet and kind of moldy. So they're gonna actually properly unveil them inside the DMV. So that's where we're headed right now. The box was put into the courthouse in 1909. There it goes. Lost connection there.
Thanks.
Now, see, I had my jeans on this morning because I had to go mucking through some hay fields and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God,
Quite a deal to get it opened up, actually.
yeah, it looks like there's a struggle.
Well, I tried not to. Yeah, that's fine. Great. We can walk on the courthouse.
Yeah.
It's got to go back there. It's going to be on display for 30 days content.
Yes, you should have. But I would have screamed at it. Yeah, I love it. Gotta love it. What's coming over? Okay.
It's on its way.
just wasn't a way to be able to do it without destroying the whole courthouse. We decided to pull the time capsule out from inside the courthouse, and we've got 1 month to figure out what we're going to put back in it and put it back into the building because we want to get the inside starting to put that back together. But this was laid in 1909 for our courthouse. Matt Ertz is the Madison County historian, and Matt's done a lot of work on this project. I'll list off some of the things that are in there in a minute. But I want to thank the public that are here, the members of the Board of Supervisors. I want to thank the Masonic Lodges, the Tri-Valley chapter, the DeRuyter chapter, the Hamilton chapter, and the Casanova chapter of the Masons. One of them is here today, and few of them, okay. And there was 3,000 Masons here when they laid that cornerstone in that building. And just think about that how we are socially today versus back then. 3,000 members of an organization here in Madison County is, you can't even fathom that today. So, Dan DeGear's here, our vice chairman. Ron Bono, where's Ron? He's our chairman of our Buildings and Grounds Committee. Mark Simone, our county administrator. Our treasurer, Cindy Edick, she's up there. Our clerk, Mike Kevel's here. Sheriff Todd Hood, of course. Our DA, Bill Gaber's here. And just a few things of what we didn't have when they put this thing in. Refrigeration, very, very few autos, jet planes, rockets. We've since seen 2 world wars that have changed the map of our globe. The Vietnam War here in our country, the Gulf War, Afghanistan, Iraq. President Kennedy was assassinated. Pearl Harbor and 9/11 happened. Both of the stock markets crashed, one in 1929 and the other one in 2008. Nuclear weapons have been discovered. We had no paved roads. Electricity was in its infancy. Radio was in its infancy. Television, which they could have left off, was invented. The moon landing happened. Arizona and New Mexico became states in 1912. Okay, this was late. Hawaii and Alaska became states in 1959. And people would have never dreamed of what the world would be like today. And when we put this back together, we'll only be guessing on what it'll be like in the next 100 years. So with that, I'm going to let Matt open the box. Some of the items that were placed in here in the time capsule on January 7th, 1909 were copies of each of the Madison County newspapers. Brief accounts with lists of members of the 8 Masonic lodges in the county, namely Oneida, Sullivan, Casanova, DeRuyter, Hamilton, Morrisville, Cautious of Georgetown, and the 3 Royal Arch chapters, Doris of Oneida, Cyrus of Hamilton, and Owega of Casanova. A list of past and present county officials, the various judges and surrogates, a list of the present state officers, a program and newspaper accounts of the Madison County Centennial Celebration in 1906, a list of the officers and members of the Veiled Prophets, a list of members of the Madison County Bar, the names and photographs of each of the 5 members of the building committee in charge of the erection of the county buildings, a copy of the charter and list of members of the County Historical Society, a number of coins from 1908, a copy of the act creating the State Agricultural School in Morrisville with list of all its trustees, a copy of the charter and list of the Board of Managers and inmates of the Old Ladies Home of Madison County, which is not politically correct to say that. A copy of the Reverend Silas E. Pearson's historical sketch of the religious denominations of Madison County, and Edwin J. Brown, Esquire, and President of the Madison County Historical Society, was responsible for acquiring these items. At the following newspapers existed: Brookfield Courier, Canastota Bee Journal, Casanova Republican, Madison County Times of Chittenango, the Earlville Standard, Hamilton Republican, and Madison County Leader and Observer from Morrisville, and the Oneida Dispatch, the Oneida Post. With that, Matt. go ahead.
So the good news is it's not in terrible shape. The bad news is it's very, very wet. So I'm very fortunate to have our records management coordinator, Kevin Orr, who's going to help us out today. We're going to put stuff in the boxes, but it's in poor condition. So we'll try and explain what we take out as we go along. Also, if you just want to take a second, right over in that back corner, we actually put out some of the photos from the January 7th, 1909, as well as some of the stuff that's been found during construction. So you can take a look at that. So this appears to be a book of Masonic lodges and the invitation to the original cornerstone land. Lodge of the State of New York, Masonic. Just curious, does anybody know where the phrase red tape came from? Guesses? Red tape came from the red, supposedly came from the red binding that was on court papers when they would be filed. With that in mind, we have the Madison County Constitutions of the Bar Association with the red tape still intact.
One other thing I forgot to mention is Christine Coes, our executive secretary, upstairs. We are streaming this live, and kids are watching this in their classrooms as we speak right now on what's happening here. Something never imagined in 1909.
No.
It's real large.
I believe this is the photos of the four men who were responsible from the County Board of Supervisors.
It's real large.
Yeah. The Proceedings of the Grand Chapter, Annual Convocation, February 2438, published in 1908. Fortunately, if it dry out, we might be able to open it. You know what this is? Coins. $1908. I'm not a coin expert, so I'm not going to pretend to know. This would be a 1908 quarter, it looks like.
It's only worth 10 cents today.
Actually, probably the opposite. This was made from solid whatever it was made of, not copper coated or
Made of tin.
Yeah. I know we have at least one newspaper that was here then. There's Charles Wade. So this would appear to be the section of newspapers. So we'll see if we can't read a headline. Of course, the headline had to be killed. Killed to save brother's life is the first headline we come up with. Madison Niece's Christmas, 1908. Madison County Times. Gleaner. A big stack of wet newspapers, what everybody has in their garage. This appears to be a list of the court members, maybe, Bar Association. Where are my Masons? Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm. From their incorporation papers of 1889. This is the historical sketch of the denominations, of the religious denominations of Madison County. One of the newspapers, it's a crowd right on the page. I don't want to say it. Now we have an empty box. So I will ask if you got any questions. All right.
Is this going on display someplace?
Are you going to take suggestions on what to put in there for the next
The
one?
Board of Supervisors is going to have something that, on what's going to go in the next one, and we're going to try and find a little more waterproof box.
We have it on our Facebook page. We're asking suggestions of what to put in there. We've gotten quite a few suggestions on putting USB ports in there, but I think in 100 years they may not know what a USB port is for. So.
It also, there's a pretty reasonable chance it won't work in 100 years. Period.
Yeah, we have a hard time making it
Work now.
Here, yeah. But we're taking suggestions, and like I said, we got about 30 days to put this back together, and then we'll have another small ceremony to put the box back into the cornerstone so we can get it covered up and construction moving along. What we're planning on is having the courthouse open for a public tour on Memorial Day of 2019. We're trying to get some military bands here. We're planning on having fireworks, a walkthrough of the courthouse, and when we're done that weekend, the following week, the courts can move back from Kenwood and into the new space that we have. Hey, that concludes us for today. Thank you very much for coming.
If you can find 3,000 of your closest friends. I doubt it. Moisture probably got it too. I think it's wet. It's got to be a plastic. You got to recycle bottles.
Where was it found? Where in the building was it found?
It's in the cornerstone, right to the front corner here where that button is. Northeast corner, right over here.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No problem. Corner closest to building 4.
Just keep an eye on those coins. That's why I'm standing here, because I haven't seen those before.
Oh, I know he did, yeah.
Pictures even as supervisors, the 5 supervisors who are responsible for doing it. Because in the notes it said that.
Do you mind if I let this fall?
Yeah,
That's not good. We gotta slide it down.